Happy Monday, first graders. Hope you had a great weekend. In Reader's Workshop last week, Mrs. Steinsmith talked about what summarizing is versus retelling. And remember, retelling is when you're telling the beginning and the middle and the end of a story, discussing the characters and the big events that happen in the story. Whereas when we summarize, we really just want to tell about the main idea or the topic and a few of those important key details that supports that main idea or topic, and we want to do that in about 2 or 3 sentences. So last week we did some learning with Mrs. Gordon and Mrs. Stanzik and Mrs. Carter and Mrs. Herrick, and they read stories to us and showed us how we could summarize some of those fiction books. Well, this week we're going to continue that learning, but instead of fiction, this week our focus is going to be on nonfiction. Now remember, nonfiction are real stories that share real information. So this week we will be able to say that we can do these things. I can identify the topic. I can identify the main idea. I can identify key details. I can provide evidence to support my thinking. I can use evidence from words and pictures to show that I understand the text. Now that we know what our job is going to be this week, let's take a look at what summarizing a nonfiction story might look like. Okay, I found a nonfiction text here called Incredible Owls, and as readers, we actually gather information before, during, and after reading to help us be able to summarize a text. So we're going to do a little bit of work before reading today to gather some information and look to see what we might be reading about. So I said the title is Incredible Owls. And so I already know that my topic is probably going to be about owls. On the back of the book, like Mrs. Steinsmith said before, that sometimes there's a summary already there or a hook to kind of tell you a little bit more about what you're going to be reading about. So this hook says, learning about owls is a hoot. This book will tell you all about these incredible birds. So that just tells me that I'm probably going to learn some facts about owls. And the word incredible is another word for amazing or great. So that also tells me that owls are a special kind of bird. So when I open the book, another text feature that I can look at to help me gather some more information before reading is the table of contents. And here you can see it says Chapter 1, What is an Owl? Chapter 2, Owl Life, and Chapter 3, Baby Owls. So I know that this book is probably going to tell me what an owl is or what it does. I'm going to know where the owl lives. I can see right here in this picture that it lives in a tree. And then it's also going to tell me about baby owls and maybe what they eat or maybe what they, how their mother helps them, because you can see the mother in the nest with the baby birds. Another way that we can gather information before reading is to do a picture walk, which we do all the time when we're in guided reading. So we're going to do a quick picture walk here. In Chapter 1, you can see there's 2 different kinds of owls. You can see the different colors. This one looks like it's a snow owl. It says a snowy owl lives in the chilly Arctic. So even labeling our pictures is going to help us gather information that owls can live in cold weather and maybe they can live in warm weather. On the next page, you can see from pictures that this owl has many different colors. This one looks like he has ears, but when we read the labels that are labeling this picture, we find out that those aren't actually ears, those are just feathers, and that the ears are located on the side of the head. So even labels in our pictures help us to gather more information about our topic. The next page, Chapter 2, Owl Life. We see this owl sitting in a tree. This owl's on a branch. You can see that it looks like it's nighttime out. The sky is pretty dark. On the next page, you see the owl flying, so I know owls can fly. This picture, if you look really close, you can see that owl is catching some prey. So it's going to probably tell me about what they're going to eat. Chapter 3, Baby Owls. You can see here the mom has the nest and the cactus, and then over here the mom is sitting on the eggs. Here you can gather some more information from the pictures. Here's the baby owls and the mom taking care of the babies after they've been hatched from the eggs. So before we read, we gathered information from our title, and we gathered information from the back, our hook or the little summary. You can find more information in the table of contents, and then during our picture walk we also gathered more information that's going to help us be able to make a summary when we are finished reading. So that's important to do before you read, and throughout this week you'll get a chance with some other first grade teachers to be able to read some stories, some nonfiction stories, and practice gathering information and how to find those key details to help you write your own summary of a nonfiction book. But for today, your task is to find a nonfiction book, whether you have one at home, whether it is on Epic, or I even plan to do a read aloud of this book so that maybe you can use this nonfiction book as well, and really to just use those text features that we use today to be able to gather some information, to be able to tell you about the main idea or the topic of the story to help with that summary. So again, your task is to go find a nonfiction book, remember, a real story that shares real information, and to use those text features to help you learn about what the topic is or what the main idea is of that story. Have a great day.